Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for this week's chapter of Tower of God. We got chapter 416, or season 2, episode 336. Might be at the end of season 2 here, next chapter. See, it's kind of weird to tell because I don't know if we're going into season 3 or if we're just going to go into another part of season 2, because it's like Workshop Battle and Hell Train are kind of totally different. They had a time skip between them, they had a hiatus between them, so it's like the delineation between parts or seasons isn't really all that clear. And I don't think we're going to go for a huge time skip or anything, so given that, I don't really know if what we're getting next will be season 3 or just season 2 part something else. And even if it's called season 2 part something else, I don't really know what makes it so different now that I'm thinking about it out loud. Either way though, let's talk about the actual chapter. I liked it. It felt kind of like CU's just like, okay, we know the hiatus, we got 2 more chapters. We're kind of chilling. It felt kind of like an epilogue, like this whole New Wave Part 1 and presumably Part 2 is just going to be finishing off what's left before the hiatus, so that we can probably have a time skip. Over that time skip, Evankel will probably train somebody, most likely Bomb, but Rack maybe as well, or maybe just Rack. I have my own possible, more like it's a theory, but it's more just like hopeful thinking than an actual real evidenced theory. But either way, let's start from the beginning to discuss this, I guess. So Calavan is still, Andrasi drags Bomb into the warship pretty much is where we start out. This is something that's been interesting about the past few chapters, Bomb really wanting to stay behind. It's something that I've brought up in multiple other series too, where you get the situation of the character as friends that want to sacrifice themselves for the character, and yet the character's not going to honor their sacrifice by just leaving and running away. It kind of gives me that feeling. But another thing that, as many problems as Fairy Tail had, and as much crap as I can give Fairy Tail about a lot of things, there was this one good saying that I felt like more fictional media needed to go by, and it was during the Tower of Heaven arc, I guess, where Natsu says, "You don't die for your friends, you live for them." And I felt like that was actually really good, because I've seen so many stories of the main character trying to sacrifice themselves, or somebody trying to do that, and so to see that was kind of refreshing, and I really felt like Bomb should have had that motto here, where he's like, especially after what Karaka told him, he should have understood, I don't need to die for Ha-Jin-sung, I need to live for him. So yeah, I don't know, I felt like Bomb should have more willingly been just like, okay, I need to get out of here, it's what the right thing to do is. I know he's emotional, but I still feel like with Bomb's character, he should have known that that's the right thing to do. He's not stupid or anything. But then Calavan's still trying to chase them down, and he's attacking within the flames that are overcoming him. But they make it into the station, and the station warps away. So Evan shows up and tries to leave with Yuri and Karaka, but Yuri says to take Karaka, but she's staying behind, and Karaka doesn't say anything. He's just like, okay, see ya. But something that I think is really good about this and shows a lot of growth on Yuri's part, not only her staying behind and stuff, but her telling him to take Karaka. Like, Yuri has been talking all this shit about wanting to take down or kill Karaka and even Yu Han-sung, but now when the time has come down to it, she realizes that they're good for Bomb, they're good for her friends, and honestly, with what she is trying to do, they're kind of good for her. So I like that Yuri's willing to make that compromise and be like, yeah, Karaka should live, take Karaka out of here, he shouldn't be captured as well. But Yuri turns herself in, and I think it fits really well for Yuri's character, because she's someone who, what I got from her conversation with Chonhee a few chapters back is that she kind of wants to change the tower, but she doesn't want to do it by just running and taking down Zahard. She wants to change it by taking what's already there and making it better. It kind of reminds me of Suzaku from Code Geass, where he's like, I don't want to lead a rebellion against the government if I want it to be better. I want to change it from the inside and just be a force for good inside of it. That kind of feels like what Yuri's character is more going for. So I really like the growth with her, and it fits her character. So I liked all of that. Karaka's servants, we get a panel of them leaving too, so I like that, and we see that none of them have really suffered any losses. Then the scene of Caliban screaming into the wind. Caliban has fucked up so hard. The easiest of the three orders, and he mucked it up. He's a squadron... this is what it's going to look like, is a squadron commander couldn't handle regulars. Even though those regulars were backed up by rankers and everything, it's going to look really, really bad for the 4th Squadron. Caliban has fucked it up really badly. I love we get to see Shua Arthur's group, and they were pretty funny. And they're talking about, Shua decides, yeah, we should go after the regulars because they're going to be a problem for us. And honestly, I'm starting to love their group, but not really as serious characters. I'm starting to love them as joke characters. Or it's kind of like, how do I put this? We have the Vice Alta Director doesn't even have a name. This man's in he was in this nice garb before, an official altar guy, and now he's just in this shirt that says hip and these street clothes, and it's so good. And then Charlie has been an overdone joke since the beginning, and I used to be like, oh, why make this guy serious? His design is too over the top. But now I'm starting to like the over the top design just kind of as a joke. And the same goes with Shua Arthur. Got so just wrecked, destroyed by Yu Han Sung that Yu Han Sung stole his lighthouses and ran away with them. So yeah, and use them to help everybody else escape. So I'm really starting to love their group just as kind of joke characters. They're very Team Rocket-ish, and I love characters like that in any series that kind of fill that Team Rocket-ish role of kind of the comedy villains that show up from time to time. And I'm not sure if that's really what CU's going for with them, but that's kind of how I'm starting to like them. Alpathian then, we see, tries to talk to Caliban, but Caliban's feeling that essence of regret. He's not hearing it. He wants to go after Bomb and take him out right now, but I don't think he's doing that right this second. I mean, they apparently didn't teleport that far away. See, I don't get what Caliban's doing right this moment. I guess we'll see next chapter more of that. But he isn't around anymore to protect Chionhee's ship. We know that much. So it'll be interesting to see what Caliban's doing. We jump to 10 minutes later. We see a bunch of characters, including greatest of all time, the GOAT Misang. I don't know, I'm just starting to like Misang more as a character, and Yu Han Sung, who I've always loved, is one of my favorites. We see all these characters. I'm happy we got to see Hackney, but in Lorei and Hatsu and stuff. Ship, of course, plays a prominent role, but we don't get to see Elaine at all. So it's a little bit, I don't know. I'm assuming we're going to see her, though, and I'm assuming we're going to see Lee So-young? Is that the girl or is that the guy? Oh, I always get them confused. I think Soya is the guy and So-young is the girl. So we're going to see her probably, and we'll probably see her brother too, and maybe even something with her father, Jawoon. Soa, So-young, and Jawoon, I think, are the three of them. We'll probably see more of their stuff next chapter to wrap things up too, I would think. Bomb starts crying, and part of this, I think the ship being the one to comfort him part is really, really good. I like that. But on the other hand with things, I also feel like it takes a bit of the emotion away. When we're getting Bomb crying so emotional, my master might have died because of me, then we immediately jump to Machene's prison ship, and Jinsung's up already just bitching Machene. So yeah, he's like... the person who's over the pocket or whatever is saying, oh yeah, his arms are pretty broken, he's probably not going to wake up till we get to the main ship. Nope, he's up already. So I think either not immediately just showing that he's perfectly fine would have made the emotion more. I think it would have been a lot more emotional if he would have just been really messed up. Like, he wouldn't wake up, we don't know what's happening, he is medically... we know he's going to survive, but he is jacked up right now. That would keep the emotion level high. But for Jinsung to just be basically pretty much fine, and for him to be in a situation where we know he's not dying at least anytime soon, that takes a little bit of the emotion away from what Bomb's going through. But the first thing Jinsung asks about is Viol. And we get Machene's plan after she says, oh yeah, Viol's fine. We get her plan, which I think is really cool and really fits with her character, where She's basically like, you can't change the world playing babysitter, so I'm going to change it by making it a bloody mess. But it kind of fits, because we know that her child regular self wanted to fight Zahard. So now, hundreds of years later, her adult self is probably like, either they've already fought Zahard, or they don't care about fighting Zahard anymore and they want to go bigger than that. So they're probably going to be trying to open up. What I've thought for a long time is somebody's going to be trying to collect the 13-month series. They're going to be trying to open up the gate to the higher floors, because once the gates to the higher floors are opened, then everybody's going to start fighting to see who can climb, because whoever climbs the highest next is going to be basically in charge like Zahard has been. So to me, I feel like that's probably the end goal, is to try to open that gate. But she says she's going to turn this into a Zahard versus FUG versus Walhaixong versus Workshop versus the Countless Ancient Warriors battle. Interesting to throw Workshop in there. Workshop is very mysterious. I feel like we don't know shit about the Workshop, really. I thought the Workshop was just like a small part of what's going on with Zahard's empire, but it's also constantly brought up as this bigger organization with itself. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Workshop. And then bringing up Countless Ancient Warriors that aren't in the rankings, that's a really cool concept. This is something that I said was really good learning about Caliban and the Essence of Bravery, is that there are probably all these super strong people out there that we just haven't really heard of in a conceptual way at all yet, which I think is really cool. So it opens the floodgate to bringing in just really OP, powerful, and cool characters, and you can say, oh, they're not in the rankings, and it'll all make sense. She brings up that part of her motivation for doing this is that she read about all these ancient battles growing up, and the current times are just dull compared to these ancient battles she read about. We then see Rachel, Yura, and Yuri imprisoned on Chonhi's ship, and yeah, so they're imprisoned there. Gustang's floating castle warps in, shows up in front of them. I'm interested to see what those things flanking the sides of Gustang are. They look like kind of like beasts or something. So I'm interested in seeing that. Also in seeing what Gustang will do. There's a chance we might not see it. There's a chance we might get off-screened, so we don't know if he's taking Rachel or what he's doing there. But he's going to have something to do with Rachel. I've said before that I think it could be an interesting turn of events. I could totally see Rachel going to work for Gustang or going to work for Zahard's empire, because that would again put her on this opposite trajectory of Bomb being kind of a rival to him. So I could see that being what happens for Rachel here. So yeah, we got Gustang stuff. I'm not super hyped because it is predictable. We knew he would have to show up to get the Fitbit eventually. But this kind of makes it so that Gustang said the power of the Fitbit would give somebody the power to stand against Zahard. So if he has the Fitbit now, I wonder if he's going to start putting things in motion to take that stand. Maybe in this like 5-way fight that Machen was talking about, rather than side with Zahard's empire, maybe Gustang is going to side with the Workshop, side with kind of his own group, which would be pretty interesting. Then at the very end, Jinsung says that he thinks Machen is in over her head. She is trying to start this fight, but she doesn't know anything about Viol or these ancient beasts. Hell, he doesn't know anything about Viol, and he's been training him for forever. Well, not forever, obviously, a few years, but within years of training him, he doesn't know what Viol is. So he thinks Machen is in way over her head with this. I think the hug scene was really good, with Shit being the one to comfort Bomb. Again, not much emotion there, because we see that Jinsung's totally fine. But still, is what it is. I thought it was good. I like that it's Ship in that role. Also, I don't know how to feel about Evankel saying she's going to train, at the very end, saying she's going to train a new student. It's implied that she's talking about Bomb, but she's like, maybe I should get a student of my own. Bomb is already Yu Han-sung and Ha Jin-sung's student. Maybe she's talking about somebody else. Maybe she will take on Rak as her own student. Or maybe if she trains Bomb, she'll train everybody else too. Just something. Give everybody else something. I've said before, I think Bomb gets too many power-ups. But at the same time, I wouldn't really care if Bomb gets so many power-ups if everybody else does too, so it's kind of an even thing. So if she does train Bomb, I'm at least hoping everybody else will get something, because I think it's going to happen over a time skip either way. We're not going to actually see her train Bomb. It's going to just be time skip during the hiatus. And then when we're back from hiatus, we're going to start somewhere else, just like we did when we came into the workshop battle or when we came into season 2. Not workshop battle. Well, I guess, yeah, that too. Or when we came into Hell Train is what I was going to say. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel. Another thing I mentioned too, I don't know how I feel because Bomb already has a lot of high rankers that hang out around him. Yuri's gone now, which I think is good for the story because she can do her own thing. Bomb can do his own thing. But at the same time, he still has Evan, White, and Karaka that I think are going to be around him. Evan Kell's heading there. He has Yuan Sung. And it takes a lot of the danger away from things for me, where, like this arc in particular, I'm like, Bomb's not going to get hurt because somebody's going to jump in and save him. Evan Kell, Karaka, White, Yuri, they all jump in and save him. Same with past arcs where I'm like, Bomb's not in trouble when Karaka shows up. Yuri's going to jump in and save him. Not in trouble with Hell Joe. Yurik's going to jump in and save him. So it takes away a little bit of the fear that you have for the characters. So I kind of want less high rankers to be revolving around Bomb right now. So we'll just see. I think if it's training and then sending him off on his own, that might be good. But I'm weary of too many high rankers hanging around, because even when they aren't around like permanently, they still show up to save him really often. I think it's a plot device that's used a bit too often, because it would be so hyped to see a high ranker show up if it like rarely happened, but it seems like every single arc a high ranker shows up to save Bomb. So I think it's a bit overused at this point, and we need to kind of get away from that a little bit, get more into what the regulars are doing. Yeah, for the blog, CU mentions that this is a turning point for Yuri and that Tower of God was considered to be, or like one of the ideas was considering it to be a multiple protagonist story, and I kind of felt like CU was always trying to push for that with some of the writing, but it just never stuck. Like, it felt like Rachel feels like she's supposed to be a second protagonist, but kind of not. She's kind of turned into more of a rival, which I still think is good. It felt like Wangnan more than anyone was supposed to be a second protagonist. And then Wangnan, he's been in the background of the background. He's not even one of the background characters we've been seeing. He's even further background than the background characters. And the same goes for Yuri, which CU mentioned is the secondary protagonist. But we don't get to see her as often. But I feel like that's okay. She can be a secondary protagonist and still not show up that much, just have an arc here or there. So I still think that works for Yuri in a way, but it's clear that Bomb is the protagonist at this point. So then CU mentions that Calavan has respected Jinsung. That's why he likely has mixed feelings on Bomb. I feel like that hasn't been portrayed super well in the actual story, but I feel like that's a few things too, where you can kind of see CU's ideas here and there this arc, where he has a good idea for what's going on, but it's not portrayed perfectly. Like with Bomb injuring Calavan, the thing was he was portraying that Bomb's an irregular, he breaks the rules, he has potential, he's not able to take down Calavan now, but maybe someday in the future. But I feel like a little bit of that's lost in translation. Not literally translation, but figuratively. So there is that. So things I think are going to happen next episode. I think we're just going to wrap things up some more. Evan Kell's probably going to be like, hey, here to train you. We're probably going to see a little bit more of what's going on with Gustang. Elaine will probably say, hey, I'm traveling with you now and such. And we're just going to wrap things up and take a time skip, take the hiatus. One thing, though, we haven't seen Yiwa and Danhua yet, wherever they are. There are a lot of characters we haven't seen. We have no idea. I doubt Daniel and Aka's group is going to show up again. I just think maybe the story's done with them. But one group that I don't think the story's done with, Elliot, Angel, Chang, and Quietro. Those four are like Yeah, where'd those four go? So they've been gone for a while. We don't know what's going on with them. And in addition to that, we don't know what's going on with Jaja's team, which I think is the most immediate and important besides Yiwan Danhua. I get the feeling Yiwan Danhua, I really have my theory. They said, oh, you need to go to Yian Woon, I think their name was, and get Kun thawed out. But I honestly think that they're not even going to go see that person yet. I just think that whenever Yiwa shows back up, she's going to be able to do it because she's improved her Yian family powers or whatever. I could just see things going that way because it's an easier way to tell it narratively. Then what else was there? Oh yeah, Jaja's team being the most important one that hasn't showed up. And I guess maybe a knock is with Jaja's team, because at the beginning of this arc, Ship was like, where's the bunnies team, like they were supposed to be there or something. So it's weird that we haven't seen them there, unless maybe they're just going to be like, hey, we were on the station the whole time or something. I don't know. They should be there sometime soon, though, I would think. So yeah, Team Jaja, don't know where they are. Then, yeah, I guess that's it for the blog post. For the chapter as a whole, I thought it was good. Like I said, I just felt like things are winding down. We're wrapping things up for the hiatus. I didn't get too hype, even with Gustang showing up and everything, because it was kind of like, okay, we know this is going to happen eventually because he needs the Fitbit. So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was solid. But it was just kind of epilogious, is that a word? It's kind of like an epilogue. So I'd give it 8 ancient beasts out of 10. It was good. I enjoyed reading it, and I think that's what's most important. And I think that goes for my thoughts as a whole with The Last Station, is that I really enjoyed reading it week to week, and I really thought it was good week to week. I think there were missteps. I think that we jumped into the Ranker stuff too early this arc, and also we jumped into the Ranker stuff too early as the series as a whole. I just think that we maybe moved a little bit too fast with that, especially with Bomb getting into like altercations with Rankers. I think it's way too early for that. So yeah, the arc as a whole, I had fun reading it. I think it was good for the most part, but I do think there were some missteps. But again, I feel like it's something where people maybe focus too much on the power level aspect of, oh, this person shouldn't be able to fight this person because whatever. And it's, to me, it's more like, CU was trying to tell a story of Bomb being irregular and being different, not necessarily being weak or strong, but I think getting him into altercations with Charlie, where it just happened to work out because Charlie didn't care that much, and then the same thing with Calavan because Calavan was trying to test him. I think that it was too early for that kind of stuff, and it's easy to see how people would get distracted with power level type stuff. And so I think maybe the intention didn't come across as clear as it could have. And I think that's something that mars the arc. As good and as hype as a lot of things were, that's something that mars the arc. But it did introduce us to a lot of characters that I absolutely love, like Sharon. So I'm happy for that. And Calavan. Calavan's a great character. There are certain things about Calavan that are almost comedic, but at the same time, I like Calavan as a character. So yeah, that is it. So time to shout out some stuff. Before ending this video, I wanted to talk about what I'm going to be doing over the hiatus, and also to tell you to check out Nia D. Hemming's stream or whatever, the video on demand's up or whatever, because his discussion, I was in it, and it was really, really fun. I was a bit awkward because it's like my first time in a call, like talking to, I had never met most of them, so of course I was like, I don't want to cut anybody off or anything, you know. So I was a little awkward and uncomfortable, but I feel like, you know, showing up to more of the group discussions and stuff like that, I feel like I'll loosen up more as I get to know everyone more. Kind of like natural occurrence type thing. But also, I talked to some of them about maybe doing group videos and stuff for this channel, so I'm going to be doing, like I said, a discussion video every single week once we're on hiatus, in order to kind of keep Tower of God stuff going. So, I already have a lot of ideas from you that are really great that I'm taking into account when I go into this week to week, but are there any things that you would like to see in a group discussion type format? Any topics where instead of just me talking, you would like to see the topic done by kind of more of us? I probably won't do a big group or anything, maybe like 2 to 4 at most, but like anything you'd like to see a group discussion on, I could try to do something like that. But as far as the just me normal discussion videos go, I still plan to do, like I said, the top arcs video and the top characters video, but I want to reread to refresh myself first. So I'm probably not going to do those on the first weeks of the hiatus. In the first weeks, I think I'm going to do an updated video on Slayers and Slayers and the information that we know on all of them so far, and then an updated video on maybe like, I don't know about the top rankers, because that's kind of like the information is so old in the blog post that I'm not sure how good the information is anymore, but maybe something else on princesses and where I think that storyline's going, or other things like that. So I'm probably going to do a couple videos like that before I do the top characters and top arcs video, just to give me a little bit of time to reread the series and refresh myself on stuff. But next week will be the last chapter before hiatus, I believe, and when I do that, when we come back from hiatus, I think I'm going to start doing the reactions Sunday nights. I'm going to try to. And then these reviews will probably stay on Tuesday. I could potentially move them up to Monday, but I don't see myself doing that yet, because I already have Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken on Mondays. So maybe when that show ends, I'll move these up to Mondays. But until further notice, they're sticking on Tuesdays. But this weekend, I won't be able to do it on Sunday because I think I'm going to be out with family on Sunday. So I'll have to do the reaction Monday morning as usual. So, yeah, I guess that would be it. Don't think there's anything else I'm supposed to shout out or explain, but I thought I really do need to let you know what I'm doing over the hiatus, of course. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It turned out to be a long one, but there was actually kind of a hell of a lot to discuss. So yeah, that's it. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Tons of anime, comics, manga, and like much more, light novels and stuff. So yeah, tons of other things on the channel if you're interested over the hiatus. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to talk to you there, keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord, then just ask and I can give you a link. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.